Welcome back, dear viewers. We are still discussing the impact of Trump's winning the U.S. presidential race on the economic level. And we are pleased to be joined over the phone by the economic expert, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam. How are you?
Nice to be with us at the program. So, Dr. Ayman, on the economic level, to what extent could Trump's administration strategy impact the economic ties specifically between Egypt and the United States?
Well, actually, you know that the relationship between economics and politics is an interchangeable relationship. Okay, it is interrelated and interdependent. So, the strong economic ties would lead to strong political ties and vice versa. Actually, Egypt and the U.S. they have a political and military and also economic strategic partnership. The U.S. is very apprehensive to the fact that Egypt is the anchor of the Middle East. Egypt is the cornerstone of the stability of the Middle East, and the United States is really interested in maintaining the stability of Egypt and in helping the Egyptian economy to grow, because this will boost and enhance as we said, the stability of the Middle East, and also can give a good example to other countries regarding the cooperation with the United States. Now, President Trump, as we know, he comes with a certain economic agenda. First of all, we know that he is not interested in continuing or in the continuation of the international struggles on the political and the military levels. He spoke many times against the war between Russia and Ukraine and against the wars and conflicts in the world, and he seeks to pacify the international climate and to end these wars, and he seeks to boost the economy of his country. On the other hand, of course, it has been said that he might pursue certain protective strategies regarding imposing custom duties and tariffs on the importations, and this might lead to some increase in the inflation in the U.S. So this might reduce the pace of the reduction in interest rates and maintain the high interest rates for some time. Of course, this will enhance or strengthen the U.S. dollar against other countries, against other currencies, I'm sorry. And we know that the relationship between the dollar and the gold is an inverse relationship. So the strength of the dollar might lead to some reduction in gold prices. Also, it's known that Trump is supportive of the oil industry. He's a businessman and he cares about the interests of the oil companies, and that's why the support of the oil industry will see a reduction in the oil prices, because it's expected that he would support the oil companies in the production, and hence this will improve the supply of oil and will reduce its prices. This is what's apparent until now from the international reactions regarding his re-election.
Doctor, you mentioned the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. So if Trump's decision to stop supporting Ukraine through its conflict against Russia came to reality, how much this would influence the global economic crisis, which is already influenced or impacted as a result of the Russian-Ukrainian war?
Well, actually, we know that the Russian-Ukraine war has led to a global inflation, because, of course, Russia is one of the major exporters of oil in the world. It was I think, the second largest producer of oil in 2021 before the crisis, before the war. After the U.S. in 2021 was producing around, I think, 11.1 million barrels per day, while Russia was producing around 10.5 million barrels per day, and Saudi Arabia came number 3. It was producing around 9.3 million barrels per day. Russia has the biggest natural gas reserve in the world, and it was exporting around 40% of the requirements of the European Union, especially Germany, of natural oil, of natural gas. That's one thing. So the Russia-Ukraine war and the suspension of the Russian supplies of oil and raw materials and grains led to an international wave of inflation, which sparked the big increases in interest rates and had a bad effect on the economy, the whole international economy. So it's expected that ending this conflict would ease the economic conditions worldwide, would lead to the resumption of the free trade and the resumption of the Russian supplies of grains and oil and natural gas around the world. So, of course, this might lead to tempering down the inflationary pressures around the world, especially that if Trump would impose custom duties and tariffs on the imports to the United States, this might lead to some inflationary pressures. So he might be interested in reducing those inflationary pressures worldwide by resuming the Russian trade with the world. Because we know that the international economy is like a connected tube. If something happens in some part of the world, it will definitely affect the other parts.
Yes, indeed. So, Doctor, the U.S. and Egypt have a long-standing partnership. What other areas are expected, or do you expect to be fostered or expanded under the new administration?
Well, as we said, the relationship between economy and politics is interrelated. So, Egypt and the U.S. have very strong ties, and especially those ties were cemented in the late 1970s by the signing of Camp David Accords and inaugurating the long-term strategic relationships between Egypt and the U.S. We have very strong relationships on the political, the military, and also the economic level. We foresee that, of course, the American investments in Egypt would be really interested in the energy sector. This is the traditional sector of American investment, also in the financial sector. The importation of high technology, supercomputers and the like, and also we can foresee an increase in investment by the American hedge funds, whether situated in the U.S. or outside the U.S. in the Egyptian economy, especially with the great potentials in the Egyptian economy and the improvement and enhancement in infrastructure. And now I think the Egyptian stock exchange is one of the promising stock exchanges in the Middle East. So we would expect to see some increase in the flow of investment from the hedge funds.
Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, the economic expert, thank you so much for being with us and for your valuable information. It was a pleasure having you with us.